Investigators assigned to the Kingston Western Police Division have listed several men as persons of interest, as they believe these men can assist them in ongoing investigations in the division. Now, the men were urged to turn themselves in at the Denham Town Police Station earlier today. The persons listed are Mark Harley, otherwise called Dudabap of Southborough, St. Catherine, and Craigtown, Kingston 5. Rashid Lyons, otherwise called Guess of Clarence Road, Kingston, Roger Allen of Clarence Road, Craigtown, Kingston, Shadane Mackenzie, otherwise called Philippine, and Carlington Lawrence, otherwise called Dumpling, both of Sunlight Street, Kingston 13. Colin Rose, otherwise called Adams, and Stuart Burton, otherwise called Bing, and a man known only as Heckle, all from Arnett Gardens, Kingston 13. The Denham Town Police are asking anyone who can help them locate any of the individuals listed to contact the Denham Town Police at 876-922-6441, Police Emergency 119, or the nearest police station. We go now to tonight's COVID-19 update. Jamaica reported 27 new cases of COVID-19 and 1 virus-related death for the period, increasing the total of confirmed cases on the island since the outbreak to 91,249 and confirmed deaths to 2,392. The latest victim is an 82-year-old female from Manchester whose death was previously classified as under investigation. The new cases comprise 16 females and 11 males ranging in age from 6 to 94 years. According to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, 8 of the cases were recorded in St. James, 7 in St. Mary, 5 in St. Anne, 3 in Westmoreland. 2 cases were recorded in Trelawney and 1 case each in Manchester and St. Catherine. No new cases were reported in Kingston and St. Andrew, Hanover, Clarendon, Portland, St. Elizabeth, and St. Thomas. The Ministry of Health and Wellness further reported 103 additional recoveries, increasing the total of recovered persons now to 62,642. In other news tonight, Medical Officer of Health in Manchester, Dr. Nadine Williams, is urging persons not to become complacent as the COVID-19 cases and deaths decline. She insisted that persons should continue to follow the protocols and get vaccinated to protect themselves against the virus. Addressing the issue of vaccine hesitancy, Dr. Williams disclosed that some people do not see the need to be vaccinated, while others are afraid of taking the vaccine. Dr. Williams revealed that for Manchester, the uptake of the Pfizer vaccine has seen a slight increase since the Health and Wellness Ministry made it available to other age groups. Regional Director of the Southern Regional Health Authority, Michael Bent, also underscored the importance of persons continuing to follow COVID-19 protocols, although curfew restrictions have been relaxed. Among rural parishes, Manchester has the 3rd highest incidence of COVID-19 infections since the onset of the pandemic in March of last year. The parish has recorded more than 5,000 COVID-19 cases up to yesterday. Continuing with the news tonight, religious persons are more in favor of receiving COVID-19 vaccines in comparison to the non-religious Jamaican population. This, according to findings of a recent study conducted by Northern Caribbean University NCU researchers. The study that looked at COVID-19 vaccination status among religious and non-religious Jamaicans found that nearly 75% of unvaccinated persons were from among the non-religious population, while nearly 50% of unvaccinated persons identified as religious. Among the religious community, more than half were vaccine hesitant, trending towards the younger age groups 18 to 26 years, which is 54%, and aged 27 to 37 years, or 51.2%. Almost a third of elderly religious respondents were anti-vaccination. The NCU study also suggests that Christians are the most likely to be vaccinated among the Jamaican population, with females at a higher rate of vaccination. Reacting to this finding, lead researcher Paul Bourne suggested that the health authorities factor this information in their vaccination strategy. As we continue with Mello TV News tonight, work is expected to begin shortly for Phase 2 of renovation works at the Chapelton Community Hospital in Clarendon, valued at 112 million Jamaican dollars. The work will involve the completion of the renovation and expansion of the existing hospital to include new ceiling, walls, flooring, 4 additional doctors' offices, improved bathroom facilities for patients and staff, completion of the new 22-bed ward, expanded waiting area, and associated electrical, mechanical, and plumbing works. $1 million was donated by United States-based Push Start Foundation head and Clarendon-born businesswoman Beverly Nichols for the first phase of the developmental project. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton, who toured the hospital recently, said the government has awarded the 112 million Jamaican dollar contract for the second and final phase of work for the facility. Minister Tufton said, quote, "A number of critical services, including dental services, will be improved. Inpatient care, more beds, about 40 or so beds, and of course, more personnel, very importantly. When it is completed, you will have a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week hospital service here in Northern Clarendon." End quote. He urged the contractor, Sanitech Engineering Solutions Limited, to complete the work on time and within budget. Still making the news tonight, Executive Director of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, Audley Gordon, is defending the internal systems of the agency amid revelations that investigators from anti-corruption agency Moca are probing irregularities at the authority. The Dennis Chung-led board called in the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, who discovered several irregularities at the Metropolitan Parks and Markets following an audit in September last year. Mr. Gordon says the presence of Moca at the authority is testament to the fact that the internal systems put in place are working to eradicate incidents of corruption at the NSWMA.
We have done an audit in keeping with our duty, in keeping with our mandate to ensure best practices under the FAA and the TBMA Act. And the audit shows us something that we don't like. We reported to our board. The board, having looked at it, recommended a course of action. All this is internal, We are doing this, so it speaks to the level of accountability. It speaks to the management changes and adjustments that we are policing ourselves.
The audit reportedly uncovered several procedural and documentation irregularities regarding checks said to be valued at millions of dollars. The Moca investigation reportedly started a week ago. Mr. Gordon says he's constrained from revealing additional details as the matter remains at a delicate stage. The NSWMA boss says what the auditors and the board found was enough to cause them to call in the police to launch an investigation.
Based on the act that governs both the PBMA and the FAA, once the auditors would have found things that make them very uncomfortable, as in this case, it is not anymore a matter for internally for us to try and treat with in any piecemeal way. It is recommended that we go up the chain once there are certain clear breaches identified and clear concerns glaring that are identified.
In other news tonight, the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, said it lost just over $2 million in revenue from yesterday's strike by drivers, which impacted almost all of its morning bus schedule. The strike that created a financial boom for taxi and private bus operators was sparked by last Friday's arrest of a JUTC driver by police who reportedly dragged him from behind the wheel of the bus he was driving. He was charged with breaches of the Disaster Risk Management Act, disobeying a constable, and resisting arrest. As a result, hundreds of commuters in Kingston and St. Andrews, St. Catherine and St. Thomas were left stranded at bus stops from as early as 5 a.m. However, discussions between the management of the state-owned bus company and the police satisfied the drivers that the matter would be properly investigated, and as such, they agreed to return to work before noon. The driver at the center of the incident has been released from police custody and also resumed his duties yesterday. Continuing with the news tonight, Barbados last night became a republic following a ceremony which formally cut ties with the British monarchy and removed Queen Elizabeth II as head of state. Dame Sandra Mason was sworn in as Barbados' head of state, ending 394 years of now indirect British monarchical rule. During the ceremony, the royal standard flag representing the Queen was lowered and Dame Mason was sworn in as president. The new republic was born to the cheers of hundreds of persons who lined Chamberlain Bridge in Barbados' capital, Bridgetown, at the stroke of midnight. Barbadian national hero, cricket legend Sir Garfield Sobers and the heir to the British throne, Prince Charles, were among those that attended the ceremony. Meanwhile, Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley announced during the ceremony that 33-year-old international music superstar and the Eastern Caribbean island's most famous citizen, Rihanna, has been accorded the honor of being Barbados' 11th national hero. And that's our news package for you tonight. Thank you for tuning in to Mello TV Evening News at 8. I am Shelley-Ann Hill. Do stay safe and pleasant viewing.